young J-Bulls is really not coping too well right now. His mental health hasn't been right for a while, and he uses a few different coping strategies to try and feel better. But the thing is, it's not making him feel better at all, it's actually making him feel worse. Perhaps you're struggling with your mental health right now, and you just want things to change. But before you do that, you need to evaluate if you're doing any of these things, because they could be one of the things keeping you depressed. By the way bro, I'm gonna need you to leave a like and a comment. This really helps to grow the channel, and if you're enjoying the content, be sure to subscribe. The first thing you need to ask yourself is, are you eating right bro? Maybe you're a comfort eater and this is your way of feeling better, but understand that diet plays a huge role in mental health. If you're not getting the right nutrients, you can start to feel fatigued and your feelings of stress will be intensified. If you're eating a lot of junk food, it's going to mess up the reward system in your brain, because when you indulge in activities that are pleasurable, your brain produces more dopamine receptors. This affects your mental health because now it's going to take much more to get the same kick that you did previously. And when you're not getting that, you begin to feel worse. The next thing that could be holding you back is adult content. You know what I'm talking about. Now this is probably one of the most destructive habits there is, for a multitude of reasons. There's too many to talk about in this video, so we'll just highlight a few. Watching this can release feelings of shame, it can make you feel guilty, it causes huge spikes of dopamine, and it can lower your confidence. Shame is the lowest emotion that there is, and if you're adding more shame through watching this content, it's only going to make you feel worse about yourself. This is very bad for your sense of self-worth. Guilt is also among the lowest of emotions, and you feel guilt because it's a secretive activity, because deep down you know you shouldn't be doing it. Imagine how you'd feel if everyone saw your internet history. You probably wouldn't be very proud, would you? Getting huge dopamine spikes is never a good thing, because as we previously mentioned, this can mess up your reward system. You no longer feel a sense of drive or motivation because you've overwhelmed yourself with pleasure. Increased dopamine receptors mean that you can no longer feel good when you do said activity, because now it's going to take so much more work to get the same kick, and you start to feel a lack of achievement. Your confidence is lowered when watching this kind of adult content because of the shame and the guilt that you experience. Confidence plays a huge part in mental health because it directly impacts the way that you feel about yourself and what you are capable of. If you never feel like you're good enough, of course you'll feel bad. Are you someone who takes substances to feel good? Maybe you smoke. The problem with this is that it is a depressant. This means that taking it will lower your heart rate. It'll also lower your mood, awareness, and so on. A lot of people do this to calm themselves down because maybe you have anxiety. The problem with this is that it doesn't actually make you feel better, but worse in a way. You feel less driven, less motivated, and you'll become much less productive. When you're being productive, you feel good about yourself because you are achieving things. But when you're high, you tend not to be very productive. One thing you might be doing that's making your mental health worse is overindulging on video games. The thing is with video games is that they can be very fun and highly addicting, and as we've mentioned, this can affect the reward system. But gaming can become a problem because of the amount of time that you spend gaming. You might play for several hours a day. Maybe it's the first thing you do when you come home from school, and until you go to sleep, it's really all you do. This affects your mental health because you're not being productive. You could have done so much more with your day, but you wasted it on cheap dopamine. The chances are that you don't even enjoy it anymore. It's just a way to stimulate yourself because you can't sit still and just be present in the moment. You really need to ask yourself if you're doing any of these things, because it could be the very reason that you are not feeling right. And you might have noticed a common theme in this video: indulging in quick mindless pleasures as a way to cope with your mental health. Let's be honest with ourselves, this is only a short-term fix that causes long-term problems. If you can significantly cut down on these habits, you will see much more improvement in your mental health. It's not going to be easy, but it'll be worth it. If you're anything like young J-Bulls, then you have a lot of feelings of shame and guilt. If you'd like to understand why that is and how to overcome it, click the video on screen right now.